Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted blindly? Have you ever felt the knife going into your back and had to smile, swallowing the blood just so no one would see that you were hurt? I have. And this is the story of my revenge. My name is Lee Min Jung. I'm 32 years old, and until a few months ago, I was a senior business development manager at one of South Korea's largest technology companies, Chonbong Corporation. I wasn't just any employee. I was the woman who reached where no one believed a poor girl from Busan would ever reach. I started as an intern at this company when I was 24 years old. I came from a humble family. My father was a fisherman. My mother worked at a kimchi factory. They sold our small boat to keep me in Seoul. I worked 14 hours a day, slept in the office when necessary. I studied business Korean at night because my Busan accent made me looked down upon by my Seoul colleagues. I've slept on bus benches, missed university deadlines, went hungry on important meeting days, but I never complained. I knew what I wanted. But there was one person who always encouraged me. Park Jae-wook. He was 3 years older than me, already a supervisor when I arrived. He was different from the others, gentle, caring. When everyone saw me as the country girl, he saw my potential. He brought special coffee every morning, always said it was casual, but I knew it was from the most expensive cafe in Gangnam. We would stay late talking about our dreams. He wanted to reach the top of the company. I wanted to prove that a girl from Busan could conquer Seoul. After 2 years of friendship, we started dating secretly. Company policies didn't allow relationships between supervisor and subordinate. One night, working late, he looked into my eyes and said he had fallen in love with me. Not with the exemplary employee, not with the ambitious woman, but with me, the girl who worried about street cats, who called her parents every Sunday, who cried watching dramas. I was also madly in love with him. The next 5 years were the best of my life. I grew in the company. Jae-wook became a director. Our relationship remained secret, but we planned to marry as soon as I reached the same hierarchical level. In 2024, I finally got my big opportunity. Chonbong Corporation had been trying for 3 years to close a contract with the Australian company Technova Global, led by Korean-Australian CEO Kang Tae-hyun. I studied Tae-hyun's profile for weeks. I discovered that he valued honesty, hard work, and genuine innovation. Unlike other executives who only talk numbers, he wanted a real partnership. I contacted employees from his company, understood their language, their values, their pain points. I prepared myself like a warrior before the final battle. In the meeting, I looked into his eyes and said I knew many Korean companies had already approached him with million-dollar proposals, but that I wasn't there to impress him with numbers. I was there because I believed our companies shared the same values. I told him he had grown up between two cultures, just as I grew up between Busan and Seoul, that he knew what it was like to fight to prove your worth. Our technology wasn't just a product, it was a bridge between worlds. He looked at me for a long moment and said that in 3 years, I was the first person who had truly understood his company's philosophy. We closed the contract, $45 million. The largest in Chongbong's history, bigger than any other deal closed until then. An achievement, a milestone. I was radiant, not just because of professional success, but because finally Jae-wook and I could make our relationship public. But what should have been my greatest moment of glory became my worst nightmare. The following Monday, Jae-wook called me to his office. I thought it was to celebrate. Maybe even for him to propose to me. I even rehearsed a smile. He looked into my eyes and said with a sarcastic little smile that my journey at Chongbong had come to an end. I laughed, confused, not understanding what was happening. What do you mean it's come to an end? I asked, looking firmly into his eyes. He didn't even blink. He said he appreciated my services, but they were going in another direction. The new account would be under Choi Se-jin's responsibility. Let's be honest. Se-jin had leadership profile, knew how to behave. He was charismatic, came from an influential family, spoke well. Unlike me, who only knew how to work hard. But nowadays, effort wasn't everything. The company needed image, not a worker trying to play executive. I couldn't believe it. Se-jin, the board's darling, son of the company's advisor, the same one who was always hitchhiking on my ideas, copying my presentations, sucking up to everyone. He would get the deal I closed. It wasn't fair. I complained, said the client had closed with me. My voice choked. Jae-wook coldly replied that yes, but I was no longer a company employee. He wished me success in my career and asked me to leave. But the worst was yet to come. I asked about us, about our plans. He laughed and said we never had plans, that I really thought he would marry an employee, someone from my social class. He said it was fun while it lasted, that I was a good girl, but his family had already chosen his bride, Chairman Kim's daughter. That's how the world worked. When I asked if Se-jin knew about our relationship, he said Se-jin was his future brother-in-law, that of course he knew. Everyone knew. Did I really think we were a secret? We were their entertainment at the board's happy hours. They took me out of the room with security guards, sent me away without even letting me say goodbye to my team, without bonus rights, without thanks, without justice. I cried for 3 days, locked in my small apartment in Hongdae. I turned off my phone and replayed what had happened 1,000 times in my mind. But on the 4th day, I remembered something crucial that neither Jae-wook nor Se-jin knew. During negotiations, Tae-yeon had insisted on a security clause. The contract would only be made official after a final personal authentication, which should be done by the person who conducted the negotiations, me. They fired me thinking everything was already finalized, that Se-jin just had to go there and take over. That night, I called Tae-yeon in Australia. I explained what had happened, that the company fired me and transferred his account to an employee who had never even talked to him. I asked if he still wanted to proceed with the business. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. Then he said he closed deals with people, not with walls. If it wasn't with me, then it wouldn't be with anyone. And he canceled everything. The contract was nullified. The news hit the board like a bomb. The company's stocks plummeted 30% in 2 days. The board of directors fired Jae-wook. Se-jin was demoted to assistant. The top management fell like a house of cards. I used my severance pay, the knowledge I had, the contacts, my reputation, and opened my own consultancy, Minstar Consulting. My first client was Tae-yeon, who offered me an exclusive partnership to represent Technova in Korea. But there was something more. During these months working with me, he said he had realized who I really was, a strong, honest, brilliant woman. He wanted to get to know me better personally. Today, 6 months later, my company has grown 500%. I have 15 employees in offices in Seoul and Busan. And Tae-yeon? Well, I discovered there's a difference between a man who loves you for convenience and a man who loves you for your essence. Yesterday, I received a call. Tangbang's new board wants to hire me as a consultant to try to recover the lost contracts. Maybe I'll accept, maybe not. But now I'm the one who decides. And to Jae-wook, who still sends me messages asking for a chance to explain, I say only this. A broken heart can heal, but lost dignity never recovers. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't destroying those who hurt you. It's building a life so extraordinary that they realize exactly what they lost. Because I learned that those who are born to be light will never be extinguished by the envy of those who live in shadows. And to all those who thought they could discard me like an old chess piece, I say only one thing. The game is just beginning.
If you liked her attitude, comment on what you would do. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel.